The whole room's buzzing with chatter, glasses clinking, people laughing. It's supposed to be a celebration. Greg Whitmore, the CEO, stands at the front of the room, that smile of his so wide you could fit a truck through it. He's in his element, looking like the hero of the story, while the rest of the crowd hangs on his every word. But there's something in his eyes, a twitch maybe, or the way he keeps glancing at the finance team. He's nervous, and for a second, I wonder if anyone else can see it. He raises his glass. I'd like to take a moment to recognize someone who's really gone above and beyond this year, Greg says, voice booming. We've all seen the dedication, the hard work, and I'm pleased to announce they've earned a well-deserved bonus. To my name, a true asset to the team. He looks at me like I'm supposed to smile and wave, so I do. Barely. The room bursts into applause. The sound is deafening, but it feels like it's happening miles away. I'm standing there, glass of champagne in hand, the clink of ice in my ear like a reminder of everything I don't have yet. The bonus. The one he just talked about? Not a dime of it's hit my account. I try to smile, but it feels like a mask. I wait for the applause to die down, that weird pit forming in my stomach. It's time. I never received it, I say. My voice cuts through the noise like a knife. A hush falls. You could hear a pin drop. Greg laughs, but it's thin, forced. The crowd doesn't know what to do. Are they supposed to laugh? Or are they waiting for me to start smiling and say it was all a joke? HR's eyes flick to each other, like they're figuring out the best way to handle this. I set my glass down, careful not to let it clink too loudly, and turn to walk away. The room's still silent, but I don't care. It wasn't a mistake. They all knew exactly what they were doing. And now, I'm going to make them answer for it. The next morning, I walk into the office and it hits me right away. The tension in the air, the way people are suddenly more careful around me. It's like the whole place is holding its breath, just waiting for the other shoe to drop. I sit down at my desk, but it's impossible to ignore the feeling that everyone's staring. Simone from HR stops by a couple of times, peeking over my cubicle wall like she's trying to be subtle, but I see her. "Hey, everything okay?" she asks, a little too sweetly. I glance up at her, not even trying to hide the edge in my voice. "Yeah, just a minor glitch with payroll. Nothing to worry about." She nods, but there's a nervous little twitch to her smile. "If you need anything, just let me know." I don't respond. She's just doing her job, but I'm already past the point of playing nice. By 10:30, my phone buzzes with an email from Meredith, the head of legal. Her name in the subject line is like a punch to the gut. She wants to meet. I head to the conference room, trying not to let my nerves show. The moment I step inside, the door clicks shut behind me, and I know this isn't a casual conversation. Meredith's already sitting at the table, her laptop open in front of her, eyes locked on me like she's waiting for something. Daryl's not here, but I can feel his presence lingering like a shadow. Meredith wastes no time. "Have you ever invoked Clause 7-4? She asks, voice smooth, but with a hint of caution. I don't flinch. Instead, I pull up the clause on my phone, the words clear as day. "Yeah," I say, leaning forward. "I added it in 2020 after the restructuring. It gives me the right to lock down company systems if certain conditions aren't met." Her brow furrows as she reads it, her fingers tapping against the table, like she's trying to make sense of something she didn't see coming. She doesn't say anything, but her eyes are wide. I can feel it, the shift. This is no longer just about a missing bonus. It's about power, control, and right now, I've got them right where I want them. I sit back, letting the silence hang between us. "I'm invoking Clause 7-4, I say, letting each word sink in. "And if my bonus isn't paid, and I mean fully paid, no retroactive nonsense, I'm locking down your systems." Meredith's fingers freeze on the edge of her laptop. She doesn't look at me, but I can see the way she's calculating the next move in her head. She's already on damage control. "Are you really going to go that far?" she asks. But the question doesn't feel like a challenge. It feels like a last-ditch attempt to see if I'll back down, but I don't. "Oh, I'm going that far. You don't get to play games with me anymore." I stand up, straightening my jacket, letting the finality of the moment hit her. "Get ready. This is just the beginning." She's silent as I walk out of the room, leaving her with the weight of what I just dropped on her. The next few hours are a blur of paperwork and frantic clicking through files. I go through every document I've kept, everything from emails to spreadsheets, tracking every milestone, approval, and exchange. My fingers are numb from scrolling, but I can't stop. I know the bonus is only the tip of the iceberg. I need to see the full picture. What I find sends a cold wave through me. Bonus discrepancies all over the place. Approvals for executives who clearly didn't meet their targets. Money shuffling between departments like it's nothing. But it's the smaller things that stop me dead in my tracks. A $25,000 retention bonus for an executive who hasn't even hit a fraction of their metrics. A consultant listed with no paperwork at all, but there's a payment to their name. Processed, paid. I pull up the transaction logs and it's all there, clear as day. Money moving from one account to another, just not to the right places. It's my bonus, the one Greg made such a big deal about. That's being rerouted. Not just mine, though. There's a whole web of money disappearing into pockets it shouldn't be in. I lean back in my chair, taking a breath, letting it all sink in. They thought they could get away with it. They thought they could take what's mine and cover their tracks. But now, I've got them. I open a new email and pull up the legal notice I've already drafted. I don't hesitate. I attach the documents, outlining everything. The financial discrepancies, the misappropriated bonuses, the clear evidence of fraud. And then I hit send. The message goes to Meredith, to Greg, to the finance team. And at the bottom of it all, a demand. All company operations are to be frozen immediately until these issues are resolved. No exceptions. I stare at the screen for a moment. There's no going back now. I've just set the wheels in motion, and they won't be able to stop it. The company's about to grind to a halt, and when it does, they'll be scrambling to fix this mess. They'll have to answer for every dollar they took, every lie they told. This isn't just about taking back what's mine. This is about dismantling their whole operation. And I'm just getting started. I walk into the conference room, the door clicking shut behind me, with a finality that makes the air feel even heavier. Meredith's already at the table, her laptop open, the screen glowing in the dim light. Daryl, the CFO, is seated next to her, looking like he's trying not to sweat through his shirt. And then there's Greg, sitting across from them, all smooth smiles, but his eyes darting back and forth between the two of them, like he's searching for a way out of this mess. No one says anything for a moment. I just sit down, fold my arms across my chest, and let the tension sit between us. Greg clears his throat first. Well, this is a bit unexpected, he says, leaning forward, trying to keep his usual confidence. But there's an edge to his voice now. He knows he's cornered. I don't waste time. I've invoked Clause 7.4. That means I control the company's operational systems until my bonus is paid. And the payment needs to be made in full, without any retroactive adjustments. My voice is calm, but there's no mistaking the finality in it. Greg shifts uncomfortably in his chair, trying to regain his footing, but his usual bluster is gone. He's flailing, trying to figure out how to talk his way out of it. Look, this is a misunderstanding, he starts, but I can already tell he's reaching. The fear underneath his words is obvious. Meredith doesn't say anything. She's already pulled up the clause, and I can see her scanning it, her eyes flicking between the text and me. She knows exactly what this means. I let Greg talk for another second, but then I interrupt. I slide a folder across the table and open it up. The documents I've pulled together spill out. It's all there. The bonus discrepancies, the questionable approvals, the money that doesn't add up. I push it closer to them. This isn't just about the bonus, I say. This is about all the adjustments you've made, the funds that have been misallocated, the fake consultant with no paperwork, and the retention bonuses that are going to people who didn't earn them. Daryl's eyes dart over the papers, his face going even paler. I can see him trying to process it all, but he's not stupid. He knows this is bad. Real bad. Greg tries again, but his words are shaky. Look, we can fix this. We'll make adjustments. We can... No, I cut him off, leaning forward. You don't get to adjust this. These aren't adjustments. These are illegal transactions. And I've got the proof. I slap a few more documents down on the table. These aren't just accounting errors, Greg. These are fraud. The room goes dead silent. I can see the color drain from Meredith's face. She's running the numbers in her head now, and she knows the game's up. Daryl keeps looking at the papers, but his gaze flickers back to me, like he's trying to decide whether he can salvage this at all. Greg stares at me for a long moment, his mouth opening and closing, like he's trying to come up with a response. But there's no more fight in him. I lean back in my chair and let them stew in it. So here's the deal, I say, my voice steady, like I'm talking to people who owe me something. You can either pay my bonus, in full, no strings attached, and we walk away from this clean, or I'll keep going. I'll go public. I'll take this to the SEC. I'll freeze every system in this company until you give me what's mine. Greg's face goes pale and his hand twitches, like he's ready to make a move, but he knows he's out of options. Daryl shifts uncomfortably, his mind clearly racing. Meredith's eyes never leave me, calculating, trying to figure out how much more damage I'm willing to do. I let the silence hang there, like a weight pressing down on all of us. I've backed them into a corner, and now there's no way out but to comply. I wait. The days after the meeting are tense, like the whole office is holding its breath, waiting for the next bomb to drop. Greg avoids eye contact with me whenever we cross paths, like he's hoping I'll just forget about all this. Simone from HR, though, she's a different story. She keeps passing by my desk more frequently than usual, her movements jerky and stiff. She fidgets with the papers in her hands, her eyes darting nervously around, like she's hoping I won't notice how on edge she is. I almost feel bad for her. Almost. Legal is stalling. I know it. Meredith won't look me in the eye anymore, and every time I walk by her office, she's huddled with Daryl, whispering. They're scrambling, trying to patch up the mess they created, but they are way past the point where they can hide it. The truth's out now. They can't put the genie back in the bottle. Then, I get the call. It's Richard Kessler, an external auditor I had reached out to a few days ago. His voice is calm, steady, like he's done this 100 times before. I've been going over everything, he says, his tone clipped but reassuring. And I'm on your side. It's clear this company's been running a lot of things through the back door. You want to take this further? I hesitate. I know exactly where he's going with this. What do you mean by further? I ask, keeping my voice even. SEC, legal action, the works, Richard replies. We can file a report, get the investigation rolling. This is bigger than just your bonus, and I'm not sure they realize how deep it goes. I lean back in my chair, staring at the screen in front of me, the weight of his words sinking in. I'm not looking to destroy them, Richard. I just want them to pay what they owe. I want what's mine. I want accountability. He's quiet for a moment, like he's considering something. Understood. But just so you know, the board's already circling. They know you've got the evidence. They're about to make a move. The words hit me harder than I expect. The board? They're going to make a move? I don't know if I should feel relief or dread. Either way, this thing is going to break wide open, and they know it. The pressure's mounting, and I can feel it. Everywhere I go, people are on edge. It's like the whole office is waiting for me to make the next move, and I can practically hear the whispers when I walk past. Then, HR sends me a revised offer, a wire transfer for the bonus, along with an apology. The email's polite, but it feels hollow, like they're just trying to throw money at me to make me go away. They think a check will fix this. I don't respond. Instead, I pull up the board's email list and hit send. I send them everything, the documents, the proof, every last detail I've uncovered. I want them to see what they've been a part of. They think they can buy me off with money, but I'm not done yet, not even close. Richard's voice comes through again, his tone a little more urgent. They're circling faster now, he says. You're not the only one they're worried about. That's when I realize this thing is about to blow wide open, and I'm not just going to sit back and watch. I've played my cards, and now it's their turn. The board meeting was set. This was it. The big one. The room felt colder than usual, the silence pressing down like a weight. Meredith stood at the front, but she wasn't the same confident leader I'd seen at the start. Her shoulders were hunched, her eyes flicking to the side, like she was waiting for the floor to open up and swallow her whole. The other board members sat quietly, watching me like I was about to throw them all under the bus, which, honestly, I was. Daryl's face was pale, his hands jittery, tapping against the table in a rhythm he couldn't control. Greg? He wasn't there. Not that I expected him to be. He was probably somewhere figuring out how to spin this, but it was too late for that. He was already in the crosshairs. I took a deep breath, not out of nerves, but because I was done waiting. I was done being the nice guy. "Here's how this is going to go," I said, cutting through the tension like a knife. My voice didn't shake. I made sure of it. I want restitution. I want penalties. And I want an agreement to lock down all company operations until you admit to the breach. No exceptions. No fine print. Meredith looked like she was about to interrupt, but I wasn't finished. And I want my bonus paid in full. No retroactive adjustments. And I want it now. Richard, who'd come with me for backup, stood up beside me, his presence like a quiet storm. He didn't have to say much, just enough to make it clear that the legal side of things wasn't in their favor. Clause 7.4 is legally airtight, Richard explained, his voice steady, cutting through the air with precision. The systems can be locked down immediately. The financial discrepancies are clear. Every attempt to adjust these accounts without proper documentation is a violation of corporate law. I watched their faces as Richard laid it all out. Daryl's fingers stopped tapping, but only because he was gripping the edge of the table now. Meredith shifted, glancing down at the papers in front of her like she was hoping they would somehow rewrite themselves. But they wouldn't. Not now. Finally, one of the board members spoke up. "Are you planning on staying with the company after this is resolved?" he asked, his voice guarded but curious, like he thought offering me a corner office would smooth things over. I didn't flinch. "I'm not here for a corner office," I replied, locking eyes with him. "I'm here to get what's owed to me. I'm here to make sure the people who've been taking advantage of their positions get held accountable. I'm not interested in any fake apologies or some cushy title to make me forget what's been going on behind closed doors." The room went quiet again, but this time it was different. Meredith's lips pressed together in a thin line, her facade cracking just enough for me to see the panic behind it. She knew she was losing control. They all did. Meredith sighed, a long, resigned breath that seemed to deflate the last bit of fight left in her. "Fine," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "We'll comply. You get what you want. But this doesn't go unpunished. I cut her off before she could finish. "I don't need your punishment. I need restitution, accountability, and a guarantee this never happens again." I looked at the other members, and I'm going to make sure it's in writing. The tension in the room broke, and the board members nodded, one by one, agreeing to my terms. Meredith's shoulders slumped as she scribbled the agreement, and I could see the weight of the situation finally hitting her. Greg's career? Gone. All the power he thought he held was slipping through his fingers. But it wasn't just him. This was the moment they realized how much damage they'd done. They thought they were in control. They thought they could buy me off with money and a fake apology. But now they were learning exactly how far I was willing to go to get what I was owed. It was over, but I wasn't done. Not yet. A few weeks later, the dust settles. Greg's out, Daryl's gone, Simone's under investigation. They've all been swept up in the fallout, and I'm still here, but I'm not the same guy I was when this all started. I've got my bonus, in full, no retroactive adjustments. My legal victories are stacked up like trophies on my desk. I'm free from the toxic mess they created, and I've set everything up for my future. No one's ever going to pull this kind of stunt on me again. Not in this company, not ever. The place feels different, though. Even though everything's technically been resolved, the atmosphere is still thick with the weight of what happened. People are quieter, more careful with their words, like they're still trying to figure out where the lines are now. But me, I'm done being cautious. I walk into the office like I own it. I take a walk through the floor, just to let it sink in. The cubicles, the glass walls, the hum of people talking in low voices. It all feels different now. I used to be just another cog in the machine. Now, I move through the space like I'm untouchable. I don't need a corner office to know that I've got more control than any of them. There's a shift in the way people look at me. Some still keep their distance, wary, unsure of how much I know or what I might do next. Others try to act normal, but I can tell they're still processing. It's like the whole company is holding its breath, waiting for me to decide what comes next. And that's exactly the point. I make my way to my desk, pull up my email, and see the usual messages. HR sent me a few revised forms, another round of apologies. But I'm done with apologies. I open a new draft and send a message to the board. Just a little reminder that the terms we agreed on still stand. And I'm keeping an eye on things. I won't let them forget what happened, no matter how much time passes. They tried to break me, tried to make me crawl for what was mine. But now, I've got the keys to the kingdom. I'm not just a player in this game. I control it. I could walk away now, take my bonus, enjoy the victory, but I'm not done. Not yet. They've seen what I can do when I'm pushed to the edge. And they'll remember. I'll make sure of it. So, no, I'm not leaving. I'm staying. But this time, I'm not just an employee. I'm the one running the game.